So the Fed minutes, no pun intended, are coming out in just a couple of minutes. We're talking about actually more like 8 minutes from now. It's currently about 1:52 p.m. So in this video, we're going to see how the markets react to the Fed minutes. We're going to break down the markets. We're going to talk about some stocks. So sit back, relax, take a sip of your coffee, hit that like button, and make sure to subscribe. And of course, get yourself some free money from Moomoo, from Weeble. Join my Patreon. All of those are linked down below. And now let's just dive into the video. So as of now, markets are pretty much all in the green, all these indexes except for the Russell. The Russell's down 0.1%, but we have the NASDAQ up 0.5%. Same with, actually not same with the S&P. The S&P is actually up half of that, up about 0.25%, as the Dow is pretty much at break even, and the VIX is down 0.4%. As the metals right now, let's see, silver's up 2%, so strong day for silver, and we have gold looking pretty good as well. Gold is up about 0.3%. So let's see on the intraday chart here what's going on in the very short term. You guys can see earlier in the day there was a lot of upside, right? A lot of momentum for the bulls. You can see here right out of the gate, we opened at 399.50 to about 400 on SPY, and then we ran all the way to 402.75 roughly, which was a run of about 0.8% in the span of an hour and roughly 17 minutes. Well, I guess exactly an hour and 17 minutes. And from that point, SPY started to sell off, I guess, in anticipation of the minutes coming out. You know, we have Thanksgiving tomorrow. Markets are closed. You know, maybe we're getting a bit antsy ahead of the holiday. I don't know. But it's probably because of the minutes, you know, start to sell off at about 11 a.m. And right now we're down from that 402.75 level to about 400.75, which is a drop of about 0.5%. And another thing worth mentioning here is on SPY, guys, we have a clear ascending triangle on the 20-day chart. You guys see it. We have higher lows being made, but again, clear resistance at about 403.50, which that was the high from a couple days ago. So if we do ultimately break out of that, my alerts at 404, SPY's probably going to start going to the highs from the middle of September, right before we got those the August CPI data, which you guys remember after that, the markets completely collapsed. So really in the next 5 minutes, we'll see how this ends up playing out. Really the next couple of hours, you know, are we going to end up seeing a huge push heading into the close? Are we going to dump into the close and all these gains, you know, are going to be lost, right? Let's see what ends up going on. And let me actually get a sip of coffee, guys. Clearly in my throat, my voice is screwing up. So there we go. So, yeah, at this point, again, we're down a little bit intraday, although we're still up 0.25% on SPY. And Triple Q right now is up 0.5%. And you can see right out of the gate, this ran up as well from 285 to about 289. It ran up about 1.2%. Then we saw a bit of a sell-off from 289 to about 286. That was a drop of 1.2%. And now we're hovering at 287. So, yeah, guys, it all comes down in the very short term, at least. And this is funny because last video I mentioned how, you know, not to pay attention to the Fed meetings, the minutes, you know, all the news, all that stuff is going to throw you off track if you're not disciplined. So funny how I said that, and now we're talking about it. But again, this is for the short term people out there, right? If we're looking, and again, you could be a long term investor and like looking at short-term data, you know, things that happen on the day-to-day basis. That's okay. But when there's kind of a fine line there, when you let your emotions overtake you, that is when maybe looking at the day-to-day starts to become a bad idea, because you might make an irrational decision like we covered in my last video, which you guys should go check that last video out here on the channel. But overall, look, you know, the minutes are coming out here soon in a couple of minutes. And again, we're up right now across the board, but it's, you know, the markets, you know, you can tell the markets are waiting for the minutes. So let's see what's going on oil. Last I checked, oil was getting destroyed. Let's see here. Yeah, oil's down 4.3%. I mean, look at that, guys. Back under $80 a barrel. It's now at 77 a barrel. And look at this. We're right at the lows pretty much, you know, from about a week ago, or not even a week ago, 2 days ago. I mean, 2 days ago, oil hit 75 a barrel. Now we're at 77 a barrel. So by the looks of it, we're under the moving averages on the 20-day chart. We're collapsing. We're down over 4% on the day. This is going to those lows, in my opinion. We might even take the lows out. I don't know if we're going to take the lows out yet, but we're for sure, in my eyes, in my personal opinion, going to at least, test those lows. So crude oil is getting hit, and you guys should not be surprised because we did cover that. We called this out. We talked about oil potentially going back under 80 a barrel. Now it's happening. So if you guys have been watching the channel, you're probably not surprised. And if you haven't been watching the channel and you're a new viewer here, hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe and let me know in the comments. If you're a new viewer and you've never seen my videos before, let me know in the comments. That's actually going to be interesting because I don't know truly how many new viewers watch each and every video. I mean, I guess subscribers every day, but I don't know. Well, I guess technically then, they are new viewers. But either way, if you're a new viewer, let me know in the comments. I appreciate you guys as always. And now let's just talk about some stocks. What's going on here? We have Tesla moving up on the day, which is funny, considering in the last 2 days we covered Tesla. It's been getting destroyed, and we've been talking about how I think it's going to go down even more, right? And I also was talking about how, in the meantime, it could easily see a relief rally. It's not going to go straight down without any green, forever. I mean, we're going to see, ups and downs, and that's kind of what we're getting. Tesla got pretty oversold, and even though we're up about 5.5%, it's rebounding. We're still clearly in a downtrend here on the 20-day chart. On the 3-year chart, the head and shoulders is clearly still intact. So keep that in mind. We're seeing a little bit of a relief rally, but I'm still sticking to my belief, my thought in the short term that Tesla, it could run even more, but ultimately I think bears are still in charge. I think there could be more downside for Tesla, and we'll see. I think it could be going still to $150, maybe even under that. So Tesla's up on the day. We have Snapchat up, AMC's up, Coinbase is up about 4%, which, I mean, you must have what of steel, balls of steel. I'll just say it. You must have balls of steel if you're, buying Coinbase here, if you're holding Coinbase. Well, I know a lot of people are holding Coinbase because they're down a ton on it. They bought it at 300 or 250 or 200. Now they're just holding the bag. But, so in that case, I get that. But if you're actually buying Coinbase here as a fresh position, or, you just recently bought it, you got balls of steel with what's going on in crypto right now. It's kind of risky in my opinion. Who knows what's going to happen? Coinbase will probably be okay. But 2 months ago, you probably thought that about FTX, right? So at the end of the day, it's a little bit different. Coinbase is a publicly traded company. It's audited, a little bit different. But still, in the back of my mind, I'm like, I'd rather just stay away from it. And a lot of people are probably thinking that about Coinbase. That's the reality of the matter here. And, if people, and there could be a lot of money. On the flip side, there could be a ton of money to be made in Coinbase if, things really turn around in the crypto market. The recession maybe doesn't get as bad as we think, and maybe things turn around in the overall financial markets. Coinbase could be a multi-bagger for all we know. If crypto gets back in an insane bull run, it could be a multi-bagger from here. But the risk is unreal. I mean, there's a ton of risk with Coinbase. Honestly, the risk that you could lose half of your money just because you think, or just because it went down a ton already, 80, 90%, whatever it's down, doesn't mean it can't go down even more. You could still lose 50% from where it is now. It could easily go to the 20s, 30s for all we know if things get really ugly. So, yeah, I mean, you got balls of steel if you're playing with this stock, holding it for the long term, in my opinion. And if it works out, I hope it does work out, you're going to make a ton of money, I feel like. There could be a big turnaround in Coinbase stock, but clearly investor sentiment is very bearish right now. A lot of people are just throwing this one to the curb. And if you're picking it up, if you find value in it, which everybody values things differently, if you value Coinbase, this could be an opportunity for sure. But for me personally, guys, full disclosure, I'm staying away for now, personally. And I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just keeping it real. So AMD, let me pull it up. AMD is up 1.5% today. And look at this. We're actually now testing the highs from the middle of this month, right around 76, 77 bucks. And this is what we talked about, I think, yesterday, right? Yeah, we covered this yesterday. Same thing with NVIDIA. We'll talk about that in a second. I think AMD, at 78, 77 bucks, we could be breaking out like no other to the lower mid 80s. I think Nvidia here, it's already breaking out of the wedge. In the short term here, we're at what, 163 now. We could be going to 170 bucks. It's in the cards. If that were to break, we could be going 185, 180, 190, right? So Nvidia's looking good. AMD's looking good in the short term. Tesla's rallying, but I think it's a bull trap personally, so keep that in mind. That's my thought on that, like I said. And CRM, if I pull it up, is up a little bit on the day. I mean, a lot of stocks are up. We have Adobe back to the mid 300s. I mean, dang, look how much that one got away from us, guys. This is one that I really wanted to build out as it was creeping back to the low 200s, or not even back. I mean, to the low 200s for the first time. I just never was able to do it because, it got 275. It barely stayed there, and now look at us. We're back to 340 on Adobe. So as a long-term play, I'm not really looking at it at this value yet. Not saying it's a horrible value. I mean, you could still argue that if you're holding this for 10 years, I mean, buying it now would be a decent idea because it's already down 50%. But then again, I mean, just because the stock's down 50% doesn't mean it's a good value, but that's a whole different topic for a whole different video. But for me personally, guys, I'm staying away from it here as a long-term play. I'm not buying anything here, but as a trade, short-term, it looks pretty decent. I mean, look at this. We're getting buyers right around the 50 SMA. We're up 2.2% on the day thus far. We're about to go to 350 potentially. That'd be the next place we test. If that were to break, I mean, who the heck knows where it's going to go from there. So Adobe looks decent. And let's see here. The NASDAQ is moving. Let's wrap back around to these markets before we wrap the video up. And if you're still watching this video, guys, hit that like button, make sure to subscribe, and don't forget to get your free money from Moomoo, 15 stocks plus 12 stocks from Webull, and check out my Patreon. All of those are linked down below. So clearly, Fed minutes just came out, and markets are loving it. We just hit an intraday high on SPY. We just hit 402.80 after the minutes came out, and that is, above the high that we saw earlier in the day. So look at that. We're getting closer now to test 403, which again is that high from about a week ago, a little over a week ago. SPY's one step away from breaking out. I'm telling you, 4.445 breaks. There's going to be a rip on SPY. And triple Q, let's pull this up. On the intraday, you guys can see we're at a fresh high as well. Not yet. We're almost there. We're about to hit that earlier high from today, about 289, 290. If that were to break 290, 295, guys, man, oh man, triple Q could start ripping towards that 300, 305 mark. Who knows? Maybe even back to the highs from the middle of September, being about 310, 315. We'll see how it goes. So right now, clearly, and again, we're not going to break down the minutes in this video, but clearly the markets are liking what they saw. I'm going to go dive into these myself, guys, quickly, briefly, and see what's going on, and go on with my day. And then I'll see you guys in the next video. So if you enjoyed this one, hit the like button, subscribe again. Check out all those links down below. I'll see you in the next video, guys. Peace out.